What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm down at Foreign Car Charlotte getting to check out a 1966 Ford Mustang GT. Huge shout out to them for providing this classic car for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website because they have a huge selection of inventory to choose from. But this model here, as you can tell, is finished off in black. It had an original MSRP right around $2,400. If you adjust for inflation, that's around $19,000 to $21,000 in today's market. And with the appreciation of classic cars, this has an MSRP right around $40,000. Let's go ahead and start off today's review by jumping up underneath the hood, where you'll find the 4.7 liter V8 engine. This was one of 4 engine options available for the 66 Mustang. It's also referred to as 289 cubic inches, and the previous owner had this upgraded from the 2 to 4 barrel carburetor. It's also paired to a 3-speed automatic transmission. There were 2 other transmission options, a 3 or 4-speed manual, with the 4-speed manual being the rarest. The original specs for this engine were considered Code C, meaning that it produced 200 horsepower and 282 pound-feet of torque. The previous owner had this converted to Code A specifications, which means it now produces 225 horsepower and 305 pound-feet of torque. This model is rear-wheel drive. It has a dry weight around 2,400 pounds. 0 to 60 for this was just under 10 seconds, and it had a top speed of 124 miles an hour. And with a fuel capacity of 14.2 gallons, you could see anywhere between 12 and 14 miles per gallon. This has a wheelbase of 108 inches. Its overall length is 181.6. It has a width of 68.2 and a height of 51.2 inches. With all those specs out of the way, we can go ahead and take a look at the exterior on this 66 Ford Mustang. So the biggest thing with this particular model is it did not start its life off as a GT. So one of the previous owners converted it to a GT, and you'll see all of those additions throughout this video. Starting up front though, the first thing that you'll notice is the GT style fog lights. So those are nicely incorporated into this chrome grille, where you also see the horizontal slats running right through the Pony logo. You can see that right in the middle. This also has a chrome front bumper, which is very durable. And one thing that you also don't see in cars today is the fact that the headlights and the turn signals are separated by this bumper. Usually those are found within the same housing, so it's a unique touch to see from a vehicle of this era. You'll also notice we have plenty of cutouts in this grille to provide cooling to that V8 engine, and to gain access to look at that engine, there's no electronic button, there's no latch on the interior. What you had to do is reach up underneath the lower section of the grille. You could pull on a latch just like you would underneath a vehicle today, and then you could go ahead and open up this hood, gaining access to that V8. Moving on to the side now, the biggest addition to convert this to a GT was adding the 15-inch chrome wheels. They have a really nice design, and I love how they contrast the black nicely. It also matches the rest of the chrome. You saw that on the front bumper, it's on the side mirrors, it's surrounding the window trim, and it's even on the door handles as well. And this also has the GT stripe running down the lower section of the door with the addition of the GT badge. You'll also notice there's really nice lines that run down the side profile. You can see one just up underneath the door handles, and it backtracks, making its way back to the lower side skirt. I love the shape of the roof as well. We have really nice lines that go over the fender arches all the way to the taillights, and really nice addition is the fender flares. You can see them poke out a little bit, just giving this an added aggressive look. And then last up, you'll see the Ford Mustang GT badge right in the center of the trunk. Again, that's part of the conversion. We have the taillights on both sides with a chrome surround, along with chrome running right through the middle of the bumper. And then in the lower section, you'll see the reverse lights on both sides with the dual exhaust just inside of that. Now it's time to go ahead and take a look at the interior on the 1966 Ford Mustang. In order to enter the vehicle, all you have to do is push on this button on the back side of the door handle, and that will release it, of course, gaining access inside. So you'll see on the door panel, we actually have some leather. There's a really nice chrome trim that surrounds everything. We have the grab handles to close the door. You have the release. All you have to do is pull this backwards, and that of course will release the door. We also have the roll-up window, something that I am not used to personally, but it's very cool to experience that. We have that for the front windows as well as the rear windows too, so your backseat passengers can use that. And then at the lower section, we have the side mirror adjustment. So this is actually connected to a cable, and all you have to do is push that in either direction in order to adjust the mirrors. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the interior, where you'll see the black leather interior. I really love these seats. They have a unique design to them with the horses on both sides there. Really nice upholstery to them as well. And so now as we make our way to the steering wheel, you'll see the entire rim is finished off in wood, and there's a really cool pattern for the 3-spoke design to it, along with the Ford Mustang badge right in the center. And then just in front of the steering wheel, as part of the Rally Pack, which was an addition on this model, you've got these 2 gauges. So you'll see the RPM on the left side and the clock on the right side. And then just behind that, we have the 5-panel instrument gauge cluster. On the far left is the fuel gauge, then it goes oil. Your miles per hour and odometer are right in the center, and then amps and temperature are on the right side. Everything is surrounded in chrome. It's very simple, yet effective with all the vital information that you need. Over on the left side of the steering wheel, you can see down below we have a chrome switch for the fog lights, along with the wipers. This is for the main lights. There's also the addition of the air vent, and then we also have the electronic parking brake. As we make our way to the right side, you'll see the ignition along with a lighter, and then all of the AC controls. So you can turn that on and off with the upper dial. We have where you'd like the air to go along with the temperature. So it's really cool to see that system there. And then this Mustang also has an upgraded stereo. So this has Bluetooth, very modernized compared to what you would get from 1966. As we work our way below that, you'll see the T-grip on the shifter. We even have a low range gear in here, and then you can see this really cool design pattern running through the middle of the seats. It goes all the way back to this little storage bin. I believe this would be used as an ashtray as well. As we make our way back to the floor here, you can see the Pony logo on the floor mats, along with more air vents running throughout it. Making our way to the glove box now, there's definitely plenty of room for everything that you had to put there or need to put there. There is no interior storage space in the doors, so you have the glove box there. But we'll go ahead and take one last look at the seats. And then up top, of course, we have the rear view mirror, and there's also sun visors as well. So now it's time to go ahead and take a look at the rear seats in the Ford Mustang. All you have to do to get back there is simply just grab the backrest, and it goes all the way forward, just like that. There's no handles or anything to release it. And so at 5'10", I can go ahead and make my way into the back seats here. I actually have a good amount of room. I have a few inches above my head. Knee room is a little bit tight. You can see the seat is all the way up to my knees here, but they are functional back seats. So if you had to use these or you need to use these, you can easily put full-size adults back here. And the fact that we have the window that rolls down just makes it a little bit nicer in the back. And last up, we'll go ahead and take a look at the trunk storage space. With this Mustang, you got 2 keys. You got one for the ignition and then one for the trunk. So you would simply just insert this key, twist it to the right side there, and then you could go ahead and pop this open. And with this open, you'll see there's actually a good amount of storage space. We have the full-size spare in here, along with some components for the aftermarket radio. You'll see a fire extinguisher over on one side as well. And the whole thing is carpeted, so that just makes it very nice to see. So definitely plenty of room for the 66 Mustang. Alright guys, so getting the 1966 Ford Mustang GT out on the road now. This is one of the oldest cars that I've been in. I'm not too experienced with cars pre, let's say 90s. So this is a really cool experience. We have Brian with us from Foreign Cars. He also works on the classic car side, which you guys have now.
Yes, just opened a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Good to have you guys.
Which is pretty awesome. And they get cars like this. So this is one of 2 classics I'm driving today. Oh, there's the horn. Okay, yeah. What's on the other side?
Same thing.
Same thing? I did not know that. I just figured that out.
Yep, that's the rim blow horn.
Okay, very cool. I love the design of the 3-spoke on this steering wheel too. Is this billet aluminum?
Yes, it's aluminum. Yep, and the wood rim.
Very cool design for sure. So this is fairly basic for today's standards, but this is just a car you got in and cruised in.
This is fully optioned for 1966. The
okay.
GT was the Mac Daddy package.
This is a cool experience compared to what I'm used to driving. It's definitely a classic. Now this model, I haven't talked about this yet, but this model also has upgraded GT suspension, right? So it makes it drive, I would assume, better.
More firmer.
Yeah, I've never been behind the wheel of any Mustang of this era, so I don't know how it compares to the original or the stock suspension.
They're originally based on a sedan called the Falcon.
Okay.
And this became, in 64.5, this first generation Mustang became Ford's version of a sports car.
Okay.
And they had a variety of different trim levels. The GTB, the top one, either in a coupe or in a fastback.
Right.
You can shift it.
What?
You can shift it if you want.
What would I shift for?
Just put it in overdrive.
So that's up one?
Yep.
Or down? Up one?
Up one, yep.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
So you would upshift for highway cruising like we are right now?
Yep.
Oh yeah, it only has a 3-speed.
It only has a, yes, it's only a 3-speed.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that.
When some of the stuff you've driven has, what, 8?
8 to 10, yeah. So that's pretty crazy. So we were only utilizing 1 and 2.
Right, first and second.
So would you go back and forth all the time?
You could if you wanted. Guys used to drag race them that way. Start
Yeah.
out low to second.
So you could manual shift your auto.
Yes, yes. Have to be careful you don't put it in reverse.
Right, right. I don't want to do that. So I think we're still in first, maybe?
Yep.
Up to about 40 miles an hour.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. First gear's usually 10, 15 or so.
Exactly. Different era, different technology.
Oh yeah, so that I did not know. That's pretty cool. So we could go into third gear there, cruising at, I don't even know, 1500 RPM, I think?
About.
Something like that.
Yep.
Right around there. So that's pretty awesome. As far as the suspension goes in this, with it being upgraded, we're on a fairly bumpy road. Do you think this is good?
I think it's just probably better than it was when it was new. Because, you know, shock technology has evolved.
Oh yeah.
And there's such a big aftermarket community to supply Mustangs.
Now, do you think the original suspension would be a lot more floaty? It would kind of absorb the bumps and kind of sink a little bit?
Exactly. And the steering feel would be much more vague.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but we don't have any twisty roads to really test it out.
Exactly. You got to be impressed by the guys that raced these cars back then.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome to have seen for sure. But let's just talk about visibility real quick. There's really no blind spots at all. The glass is huge in this, so even those pillars over the back there, I mean, you can easily turn around and see. So visibility for this type of vehicle is definitely very good. One thing that I did forget to show, you showed me this earlier, opening up these windows here.
Old school vet windows.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Something I'm certainly not used to. Along with that is the roll-up windows, which I'm not used to as well. This might be the second or third car I've been in that has those, so that's definitely impressive to see. Aside from that, this is a really cool experience, getting to drive a 1966 Ford Mustang. Is there anything else in particular about this that might stand out?
Well, this particular car, with the addition of the modern air, has a modern Bluetooth stereo in it, which you can connect, which is nice. And it's just very well sorted car. We have 1.5 inches of receipts on the restoration of this car.
Wow.
And pictures.
That's a lot. Now, one thing that I did notice, the odometer is almost to 400,000. Do you know what the original, or I guess the engine in it and now, how many miles are on that engine?
The car was redone in 2018, completely refurbished 2.5 years ago.
Oh wow.
So who knows if that's the original chassis mileage or not.
Yeah, because that was pretty cool to look down and see. But getting out onto the highway now, we'll use the turn signal here. You can actually just look right over your shoulder there too.
Man.
We are still in overdrive.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. I didn't even punch it, and we got up to the speed limit just like that. It's not crazy loud either, which is nice. But if you're looking for a vehicle like this, it's cool.
And you want to stand out in a different way.
Yeah. The steering wheel, I think, is one of the coolest things I've seen, because I haven't been in too many vehicles that have such a large steering wheel, but at the same time, it's not in your way either.
And there's no tilt or anything. They did a pretty good job with ergonomics on this. For 1963 or 4 when it was designed before it went into production.
This is definitely cool. I've enjoyed my time behind the wheel of this. Huge shout out again to Foreign Car Charlotte.
Thank you
for providing this car and letting me take this out on the road. This is almost a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You don't get to drive older vehicles like this too often. So it's pretty cool to see how cars used to be to where they have evolved now, especially with some of the 2020 Mustangs. The technology has definitely grown.
It's amazing they're still around after so many years, the brand. I love it.
It's definitely cool. And if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on our daily uploads. And we'll see you guys in the next video.